Welcome to the Global Marketing Show, the podcast for all things international business. I'm your host, Wendy Pease, president of Rapport International and a translation expert. Come along with me today as we talk to an expert in the global marketing world about facing their biggest fears, hearing about mistakes they made or saw, discussing best practices, and sharing fun travel, language, and culture stories. Listeners to the Global Marketing Show, thanks for joining us again. As you know, Rapport International sponsors this, and I've got a fun word for you that Elisa from Rapport International was talking about this weekend. She talked about a crazy trip that she did last minute that they planned, she and her husband, the night before when they were having beers at a microbrewery. And she's like, hey, that's like a Schnapsidee. That's a German word that means a crazy idea that seemed like an ingenious plan that is hatched while drunk. It literally translates into a booze idea. So what's the latest Schnapsidee that you've had? Well, onwards to our guest. He's not German, but he does not come from the United States, and he's doing really cool stuff here. Juha Vaisanen has years of experience with sporting goods and fitness equipment, and he currently represents Hilo Sauna Company and Technogym, which are companies that provide solutions and equipment for active and senior living communities throughout the USA. Hilo is based in Finland and Sweden and has headquarters in the US and Minnesota. And Technogym is an Italian company with US headquarters in New Jersey. So welcome, Juha. I'm so excited to talk to you about this.
Thank you for having me.
So first off, you've got to tell me, what languages do you speak?
I speak, I guess, English, Finnish, Swedish, and a little bit German.
Okay, have you ever heard the word Schnapsidee before?
I have heard snap several times, but not Schnapsidee.
Is there any other word like that in Finnish or Swedish?
Finnish, it's kippis, and in Swedish, it's whatever it is in Swedish.
So it's what?
Hälsan.
Hälsan.
For your health.
Oh, okay. Okay. So Hälsan, but not a Schnapsidee, like an idea that you hatched while you've been drinking that you think is brilliant.
No.
We don't have any word like that in the United States. So I was wondering if it went across to Finnish or Swedish. But anyway, that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about your experience in international marketing. So it's very interesting to me that the companies you're working with now are focused on senior living communities. So can you tell us more about that?
Both of these companies are large companies. So they, like Hilo Sauna is the largest and oldest sauna company in the world. So they are servicing all the markets. But what we do is, I have been working with active and senior living communities for a long time, 15 years. So I'm representing them in this segment, while they have other people working with, or they are themselves working directly with the other market segments. Technogym is it's one of the largest fitness equipment companies in the world with close to $1 billion in sales. And again, it's the same, that because of my specialty for active and senior living markets, which means basically 50 plus market, and in senior active living communities are typically 50 plus market, and then senior living residents are typically, their age is somewhere around 82, average age, late 70s, early 80s. That's typical. And obviously all the adults need different programs, different solutions, and entirely different setups than, say, 35-year-olds. There are issues like safety. They may have functional limitations, or they may be high risk.
And so how do the companies adapt what they have for how you're trying to bring them into the market?
I take example. Technogym has a very broad product line. So they have products for everybody. They may have all type of products. So when we are working with senior living communities or active living communities, we basically, when we do the designs, they need to be ADA compliant. So we do the design equipment recommendation, keeping in mind the safety, especially safety. So these machines need to be easy on, easy off. They need to be safe. They need to be non-intimidating. They need to have very low starting resistance and increments. For example, if you go to health club, I would say 70% of the machines at the average health club are treadmills. I basically do not recommend treadmills to the senior living communities. It's just people may fall. The same with the Hilo sauna. When you design saunas for, let's agree, hotels or health clubs or homes, it's entirely different process than when you are designing them for older adults. You need to add flooring that is non-slippery. You need to avoid glass doors because people, when they go to the sauna, they don't have their eyeglasses on and they are old.
Right.
You also add different type of safety rails, safety bars, so that people can hold them all the time. So it's basically you take like in case of sauna, we just design it differently. It also needs much more space. Typical senior living sauna is, say, 10 by 12, and it needs to be ADA compliance, means that there need to be a space for wheelchair.
Oh, interesting. So, well, ADA compliance would refer to all ages.
Correct.
So every sauna should have a place where a wheelchair could be brought in?
Not only commercial saunas, but I bet that most of the saunas are not ADA compliant. We don't provide non-ADA compliant saunas.
So all of Hilo saunas are ADA compliant in the United States if they're for commercial use.
Correct.
Okay, and so somebody would come in the wheelchair, but then they'd have to move to the bench because you wouldn't keep the metal in there because of the
absolutely.
heat, right?
It's just the ADA compliance is basically 60-inch turning radius.
Oh, okay. All right. And so that's what I was wondering about. Does Hilo Sauna have like a standard sauna that they'd offer for their different vertical markets? Or do they specially adapt the ones for the senior market?
We do it. We adapt for senior market because it's a different market segment.
Okay. And so you'd have the ADA, you'd have the wheelchair, but then how else is it adapted for the senior? Oh, I see what you were talking about, the flooring, the glass doors, the rails.
Yeah, let me say that, for example, if you go to a fancy hotel,
yes,
you will find their sauna with wall glass. It's unlikely that you find it in senior living environment because we cannot attach safety bars to the glass. Neither we don't want people to walk to the glass wall.
Whereas at the fancy hotel, you'd have the glass wall, you'd have no railing because they're looking for a sleeker look.
Yeah, correct.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Now this brings to me in the United States, yeah, every country has a different way that they care for their elderly. And in the United States, it's more common to have a senior living place where parents would go. In other countries, the elderly live with the family, so they wouldn't be as likely to go to places. What are the hot markets for senior markets for Hilo Sauna?
Let me say that overall senior living, most of the European countries have only nursing homes. Recently, countries like the UK, to a certain extent, France and Germany, they are now adding also independent assisted living communities. where you go earlier. Nursing homes are typically, you go there when you really can't live alone anymore. Could be
Right.
memory care issues or that type of things. USA, we have probably around 35,000 senior living communities, out of which about 10,000 are for independent assisted living, or they are life plan communities where they have all segments. They have independent living, assisted living, and memory care services. And they are very high quality. Some of them are really large. Certain companies like Ericsson Senior Living may have 4,000 residents in their biggest communities. They're like suburbs, like small towns. There are two types of communities. There is basically for-profit and for non-profit. And there's not really any difference in their services. They are mostly very high quality, but they are also expensive.
Right. So tell me more about them. Like, what are is it standard to have a sauna there and a gym and?
Gym, definitely. Basically, all the leading brands in the senior living business, they have wellness coordinators, they have very good wellness programs, and they are building very nice wellness centers, which are equipped with machines and software that is designed for older adults. Sauna, we started marketing sauna for about four years ago to the senior living, and now we start to see saunas getting more and more popular, especially in high-end communities. And so sauna, believe me or not, has a significant cardio health benefit. So it's in itself like a health wellness program. So we can combine. Let me say that there may be residents who cannot exercise in the gym, or they don't want to exercise in the gym. They can go to the sauna and their heartbeat is going up, their blood pressure is going up. So it's like a sort of cardio exercise.
Is it really the same?
Yeah.
So if I go sit in the sauna for 30 minutes, that's the same as if I rode
you
my
can't be there
Peloton?
30 minutes. You will be there 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, that's true. Okay. So I could get 10 or 15 minutes. So I could ride my Peloton for 15 minutes and sit in the sauna for 15 minutes. I'm still getting the same cardiovascular benefit?
Not exactly the same, but you will get cardiovascular benefit.
My goodness, I didn't know that. Okay, so
if you go and Google, you will get, or if you go to Hello Sauna's website, you will find health benefits and research relating to those health benefits.
Okay, so you get some cardiovascular, but not the same as if you're doing physical exercise.
Yeah, I would compare it to the walking. So you don't get the muscular benefit, but you get the cardio benefit.
Okay, that is so interesting. I'll have to look that up. And when you are saying Hello Sauna, it's HELO and then Sauna SAUNA. So you can go Google them and see. Now, do they do in-home saunas too?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so they do for the senior
market.
That
is growing rapidly, very fast.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Because of COVID, or people realize that they can exercise by sitting in the sauna instead of walking?
It's a relaxing experience after workout, and it's relatively low cost. So now when people have not been traveling and doing that type of things, and they are spending a lot of time at home, so they are upgrading their homes, and one of the upgrades may be a sauna.
Right, I'll have to look into that. I've heard of people. Even I heard somebody put in his condominium like a single person sauna.
Yeah, if you go to Finland, in a new condominium building, every condo has their own sauna. Every
individual?
Correct.
Or they have a shared one?
No. Every individual. I bet that I saw somewhere that there are in Finland, they have 5.6 million people, and number of saunas should be somewhere around 2.5 million. So Finns are sort of crazy whatever they do. At one point of time, they had way more mobile phones than people.
They had more mobile phones than people?
Yes, definitely.
Huh. And there's one sauna for every 2 people.
Something like that.
Jeez. Wow. I think aren't the Finnish the happiest people in the world? When I've seen some research on which people in the world and what countries are the happiest, I think the Finnish came up right on top.
Yeah, maybe the reason is the sauna.
But everybody has to reach out to you to get a sauna, then we'll all be happy, right?
Yeah.
So in my simple mind, sometimes I lump the sauna, the steam room, and the hot tub together. Because oftentimes gyms will have all 3.
Yeah.
And you can do all of them, which is a lot of fun. I've certainly done that. But what are the benefits of each? And when you're working with the senior communities, are they typically looking at putting in only a sauna, or would they do the other 2 also?
We have steam rooms, but there is not really research backing the health benefits of the steam room. So we recommend sauna because that has health benefits. That's if you are working with older adults, especially if you are a senior living community, you want to invest in amenities that keep people independent, functional, happy, relaxed, and social. Then that's where it comes, like wellness programs, especially physical wellness programs. Like when we do the design of wellness center, we put the machines in circuits so that people, instead of watching the wall, they are watching each other's and they can talk. So they are lining up for gym program at 6:30 in the morning. Then they take a break for lunch. And then after 2 p.m., wellness center is empty because they go to take a nap or do something else.
Oh, okay. So it's made a very social activity. And so it's more than just having the machines there. It's also creating this event.
Yeah, I was in one community, and then there was a discussion. The human resource person said that we have a very strict public appearance policy. So tattoos gotta be covered and so forth. And then we decided that they told employees that you can go to exercise whenever you like. And the only rule is that if the residents need the machines, you need to give it. And then actually these residents were very happy when they were able to exercise with 25, 30-year-old men and women, which had cool tattoos and that type of stuff. So it's every now and then we are like, I always recommend to my customers that when you set up a fitness center in your community, make sure that your employees, you have a program also for employees, because then typically wellness center is pretty much empty after 2 p.m. So let employees to use it. You have coordinators, you have programs, you have a space, and you have your equipment. Why not to let employees to use it? It's a nice perk, especially nowadays when there is really difficult to attract and retain employees. And it's also, over the period of time, it lowers your healthcare expenses.
Right. That's a great idea. And just understanding the buyer. Okay, so if you take this, so Hilasana comes into the United States, there's a senior market here. And so they bring you in to do that, to make the senior living communities aware. Now, where else in the world have they opened markets, or are they focusing on? Like, what's their global expansion plan?
Let me say that, first of all, the global market for saunas are growing rapidly. Mm-hmm. Every segment is growing. When you go to, for example, Nordic countries or Germany, you grow up with the sauna. everybody from 6 months to 98-year-olds go to the sauna. It's part of your lifestyle. I used to have in my house a big sauna, and we were using it 5 times a week. Now I don't have it, but and our daughters who are now in their 20s, when they were kids, whatever they were doing some exercising or playing tennis or biking, we put them to the sauna and they were sitting there and talking, and not watching their mobile phones. So it's a part of the lifestyle in, for example, in Nordic countries and I would say in Germany.
Okay, so that's just part of living. So then you come over to the United States and COVID shuts everything down. The demand for saunas skyrockets. Where else in the world are you seeing people adopt the Nordic countries' traditions of sauna use?
I would say USA is probably really getting into it. And Europe has always been, especially Scandinavian countries, it has always been part of the lifestyle. I'm not aware, I do not know that well the European market, other part of the Europe, but obviously countries like Russia, these people like saunas, and they are very used to it.
And how about China or other countries in Asia?
I'm not.
That's not your area.
No, I just don't know.
Okay, so let's talk about, like, you understand the Finland, Sweden, German marketing. Can you tell me the difference of coming into the United States, of how you're having to sell and market?
I would say that I have done like consulting work for smaller European companies, and then I actually introduced a Finnish fitness equipment company to the US market. And what is the key is to understand the size of the market. So let me say that you need to really look at the competition. US market is extremely competitive. It's also very segmented, and you have information available for all the segments. So let me say you are a small European company coming to the US market. First thing you need to have is superior product. If you don't have that, forget. You need to be able to find the market segment where your product features are superior. And then you need to try to avoid segments which are typically bigger segments where major brands are there. You don't want to compete with if your company sales in Finland is 20 million. You don't want to compete with the guys in the USA whose sales are $1 billion. It's very difficult. But you may find a segment where they are not focused or interested in. And those segments are, interestingly, also most of the time significantly more profitable. I just take an example. Companies tend to be after young people. It's a sort of fun and sexy. But then when you compare, say, 50-year-old American has about 26 times disposable income compared to that of college kid. So the money, almost anything you look at in the USA, 50% of the consumption is 50 plus market. You look at the golf, 50% of the market, even larger part, or money spent is spent by 50-plus-year-olds.
Right, exactly. They have the time and they have the money, because you look at 30 and 40-year-olds, they might have some of the money, but they don't have the time if you're talking about fitness equipment.
Yep.
Because they're usually raising kids, and then the 20-year-olds don't have money.
Yep.
So was that?
And also look at the older adults. I just look at the statistics, and in the USA, 29% of people over 60 and 46% of people over 80 cannot lift 10 pounds. So when it comes to the fitness programs, of course, everybody needs to exercise. But when you are getting older, it's not really whether you want to exercise or whether you don't want to. You need to exercise. It doesn't matter whether it's going to the health club, whether it's going walking, whether it's going to your garden, but you need to do that to keep yourself functional and independent, to be able to tie your shoestrings and other funny things.
Interesting. So you said that 30% of 60 plus year olds can't lose 10 pounds.
No, cannot lift.
Lift. That makes more sense. Okay. I'm like, there's plenty of people that can't lose 10 pounds that are younger than that. 30% of 60-year-olds cannot lift 10 pounds?
Correct.
And half of 80 plus year olds can't lift 10 pounds?
Correct.
That's scary statistics.
Yeah. And there are other CDC statistics. Well, I just don't have that in front of me, how many steps people can take and so forth. The other, why I encourage everybody to exercise, but especially older adults, according to research, every third American over 65 falls every year. Every third. And falling is number one reason for injury deaths for older adults. So falling is a big thing everywhere, and it's just a really big thing for senior living communities. That's why they implement their fall management programs, exercise programs, and that type of stuff. Falling can happen because you don't have muscles left. Or alternatively, people may be in heavy medication.
Right. Now, so now I see why Technogym and Hilo Sauna come into the United States, because you've got people who have money and they need to do it. It's not like exercise is an option for my 18-year-old son who can still drop and do 20 push-ups without thinking about it and not working out.
Yeah.
So that's why it was a huge market. Is that why these companies came into the United States?
Let me say, Hilo has been in the USA over 40 years. The same with, over 60 years. And Technogym has been here over 40 years. They came just to the normal markets. However, Technogym is from the beginning, it has been so-called, it's the wellness company, when the other manufacturers tend to be the fitness company. So Technogym has always been focusing on wellness. It's a broader term than fitness. And as we know, or they say that 80% of our diseases are by option. And basically in your life, if you take care of two things, you look at what you are eating and you exercise, you will be pretty much fine.
Right.
It's not that complicated.
Unless the genetics get in the way.
Yeah, but that's the 20% that is not by option.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I guess that's if you go down through the major killers of elderly, you're talking cardiovascular cancers, which can be helped with what you eat, some of them, or what you do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the overall lifestyle. I moved after 25 years ago. After 25 years in Chicago, I moved a couple of years ago to Colorado. Lifestyle here is, the difference in lifestyle is like day and night.
Tell me about that.
You look at like Chicago and suburbs, it's built for cars. You look at Colorado and for example, Denver and suburbs, it's built for bikes. Right,
right. And so how's Finland? How would you compare that?
Very outdoor. So big, it's Finnish people, they are walking, running, fishing, hunting, garden work. When I lived in Chicago, my neighbor came to tell me that I have a really good landscaping company. They charge only $20 to cut your cut your grass. And I said that, what about if I just like to cut my grass?
And he was shocked.
I was pretty much the only guy in the neighborhood. Unlike if you go to Finland, everybody cuts their own grass.
Oh, interesting. So there's not as many landscaping companies there because people are going to cut their own grass.
Yeah, it's like exercise. American ACSM, American College for Sports and Medicine, recommends that people over 60 exercise 30 minutes every day. And it really doesn't matter what you do. It can be walking, it can be gardening, any activity.
Right. As long as you're getting, well, I don't know. We have a ride-on mower because we've got a big backyard. It takes over an hour to cut with the ride-on mower. I can't imagine mowing it. But I also don't think that sitting on the ride-on mower counts as activity for gardening. So I don't get as much pleasure. I would rather be doing the gardening and actually moving. So I make my kids do it.
Yeah, that's good.
They loved it when they were first starting to drive.
Yeah.
Okay, so Technogym came into the United States 40 years ago with this focus on wellness. Was that a cultural thing that is different between Italy and the United States? Or how did they?
I don't think so. I think the founders were just smarter than some other people. So their philosophy is sort of softer, and in the end of the day, everybody is. I take example from another business. You look at, for example, Nike. Nike dominates women footwear market, and how they got there was that they were the first really to figuring out that women feet are different than men. So they designed these products from the scratch to women. And the same, instead of tweaking men's footwear to women. And it's pretty much the same when you are looking like fitness equipment. If you are focusing on, let me say, people they can be old or young, who are not in a great shape, or who are just functionally not that good anymore. You need to design the equipment differently. So it's not like most of the fitness equipment is designed for 18 to 35-year-old men. It's very difficult to tweak that so that 85-year-old lady can use it.
So did Technogym, how did they change? Like, who did they design for?
They are designing. There are different product lines for different markets. But then we call it medical fitness and active senior living, where you are basically dealing with older adults with functional limitations. So that market, we design equipment differently, or we have entirely different product line. Anybody can use them. That's not an issue. But then when you are selecting machines, as I said earlier, you can get pretty much the same exercise at the recumbent bike as you can get at treadmill. If you are using recumbent bike, you really can't fall. If you are using treadmill and you are older, there's a risk of falling. So a sort of pretty simple things. And so it comes how you design what type of equipment you put for older adults. You don't want to put anything that is not safe.
Okay, so they had the foresight enough to segment out what market they wanted to go after and then built the machines for that.
Yeah. Big companies are in every market. They are like big fitness companies. They are in health clubs, they are in hotels, they are in military, and very few of them are in senior living because they may not have right equipment.
So were you hired on to reach out to the senior living, or did they come to you saying, we want to sell here, and you figured out this was a good market?
Actually, it went other way around. I went to Technogym. I said that you guys have the equipment that is appropriate because they are very big in the medical fitness market with the same type of users, older adults, functional limitations. So I said that you guys, you have the products, but you don't understand how the senior living market works. I can help you out there. That's the way we started. And basically anything from Technogym to senior living, active living markets go through myself because they want to make sure that they don't sell wrong products. You need to understand the market.
Right. Which is fascinating because here's an example of you're in the United States, you understand the market, you identify the company that would be good, and you find an international company. It doesn't matter where they are, and you help them enter the US market. They're going to be thrilled.
Yep, yep. So it's a sort of, we are looking all the time, different type of products. I take example, in senior living communities right now, pickleball. It's like a backyard tennis. It's growing rapidly like crazy.
Yes.
Because it's social, it's fun for players. And it's some people who know how to play tennis, they may not be anymore willing to play tennis, but they want to play pickleball. So that's, for example, one market that I'm looking at right now with one company. Can we introduce their products to this senior living market? We also did actually test marketing for Nordic walking, which is basically use Nordic walking sticks, and that's obviously would be great for older adults because it's a better exercise than just walking. You are practically using all your muscles in your body. And secondly, it's also safer because you have two sticks. If you have balance problems, you can still keep walking.
Okay, so is pickleball? I'm going to go back here because those are two really good examples of you have a market, you see the need, so you find the company, and then you can match the market. Which is for anybody listening to this, and you're based in the United States and want to expand your business, what market do you know well? And then think about the international companies. Now, is pickleball played outside of the United States?
Not that much, but it's getting there. So it's USA is definitely, like, you look at these different, I take example, paddle tennis. It started in high-end, basically golf clubs, country clubs in Midwest, Chicago area, and so forth. We should be looking at exactly the same way. Okay, now there is somebody who is playing in the middle of the winter, in the cold. Colder it is, shittier the weather is, more it's fun. And 11 o'clock in the evening, playing paddle tennis. Now we start to see paddle tennis courts in Finland, because there is also the same, it's cold, it's winter, it's snowing, people like to drink beer, they want to be social. So they are opening first paddle tennis courts in Finland now. And that's coming from the US to Europe.
Okay, so they could see where it started, who would be interested in that. In Finland, you've got a bunch of people who like to be outdoors and be fit. This gives them something to do, right? Because a lot of them have lights above the courts that I've seen.
They are lighted all. If you go to Chicago, any of these park district paddle tennis courts, 10 o'clock in the evening in January, they are all occupied. People are playing.
It's between paddle tennis and pickleball. Similar court size.
Yeah. Paddle tennis is different, but pickleball is, I saw that they are opening now, there will be a US Open tournament for pickleballs. If you Google, you can find that company that is organizing it. And just because of the growth, it's you can put the pickleball in your parking lot, you can put it in your basement, in basketball court.
Yeah, it's so easy. It's fun. I've
Yeah,
played pickleball and I was on a paddle tennis court years ago. And to me, the size is similar. So you could rotate them off.
yeah, yeah.
But I don't know. The paddle must be very different.
It's different. Yeah.
Yeah, the paddle and the ball. Okay. And then the Nordic walking sticks, is that a US company or is that an international company?
Finnish company.
It's a
Nordic
Finnish.
walking, yeah, Nordic walking was invented in Finland. And guess what? If you go today to Finland, Finland is pretty much like Colorado. So all the streets have sidewalks. There are tons of lighted rails in the woods and so forth. And if you go there, if you go, especially in the summertime, anybody from 10-year-old to 90-year-old is using these Nordic walking sticks. It looks a little bit funny, but that's the way it's here. It's considered like people approach or is like, okay, this is for older people. Guess what? It's not. Living in Colorado, we go hiking.
Mm-hmm.
We have hiking sticks. And
Right.
because it's basically the same stick, just call it hiking, and it's okay for any
Right.
age.
Well, that's what I mean, I just assumed the Nordic sticks were like hiking sticks. If we're going backpacking and have heavy weight on our back, we use the hiking sticks to help maneuver over the rocks or downhill or.
Yeah, they are a little bit longer and so forth, but basically the same idea. So when we were doing testing, market testing, we said that, okay, why don't you implement Nordic walking? But we were also, you can call it hiking if you feel that people think that it's for younger people. If their feeling is that Nordic walking is only for olds, which is not true in Finland, Sweden, Norway.
And there they call it Nordic walking?
Correct.
So, but here knowing your segment in the word, so right there is an English translation.
Yeah.
Just which word do you use? Nordic walking versus hiking?
Yeah. It's different. It's different product, but basically the same sport.
Yeah, exactly.
And product is not that much different. It's just a length you adjust the stick for the pole.
But all the hiking sticks are adjustable lengths, so you can change them according to the terrain you're on. Yeah. Huh. Okay, so talk to me more about language. When you've helped companies come in from any of the Nordic countries or from Finland, what have you done about language coming into the United States?
Let me say that you need to adjust everything. In Europe, measurements are centimeters and meters. And obviously we use inches and foot and you name it. Then like standards are different. I had a friend who was running a company that sold type of products like Bobcat.
Like the tractors, the little bobcats?
Yeah, small tractors, very small. So in Finland, the width of the sidewalk is different than in the USA. So you need to adjust your product. In countries like in Finland, electricity is 220. Here we have 110. So you need to have different electricity. I take example with in the past, we had products where the exercise machines where there was a computer was under the machine. And we got problems in the USA, no problems in Europe. And the difference is that in Europe, most of the health clubs have wooden floor. In the USA, they may have some type of carpet. And so you get the static electricity.
Oh.
So it's a lot of little things that it takes a little bit time because most of the time you can figure out if you have done it in the past. These are the issues we're gonna see. Then I have been working only with the high-tech companies like Technogym has a very sophisticated software for exercise programs, record all the activity for user feedback, for reporting. So you can see how this person is progressing or is he progressing. And that brings in the other thing. US market is so big that most of the companies, when they can, they use distributors to sell their products.
Mm-hmm.
But distributors are sort of difficult. It's difficult to train them, especially when it comes to software. Hardware is typically not the problem. So you need to organize your company differently. If you use distributors, you still may want to keep the software support and training in your own hands, because distributors are not doing it. They want to sell, pick up their money, give the service, but not really spend their time in software training and software service.
And that's what's going to keep the customer too. You get somebody that can handle the hardware, but then you develop that.
The major decisions that the companies, when they are coming to the US market, is what type of distribution they want to go. Is it going to be through distributors or is it direct sales? Mm-hmm. Then they need to figure out what market. What is the right market? Like if you are bringing some type of bike type of products, you may want to come to Colorado and California and that type of Oregon, but not probably Chicago.
Right. So you just don't say I'm entering the United States, but you actually break it down into different states or regions to see where you're more likely to be successful.
Yeah. All these different markets are, USA has so many geographical markets that are different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what about language? What did you see with that? Like Technogym or any of the companies that you've worked with when they're translating their software or their marketing materials or their user manuals? Did you get into the translation at all?
Most of the time, these companies already have the English language available. And like Technogym is distributing their products in 140 countries. We have practically any language. We have also software for any language. So let me say you have a senior living community for mostly Japanese people or mostly Korean people in the USA. We probably have the language option there. So they, instead of using English, they may be able to use Korean language in their
so they've already thought it out. You get on the equipment and you can pick your language, or once you pick your name and you go through, it'll automatically bring up the language you prefer.
I don't know exactly how it works, but all these languages are available.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and then most of the time, let me say that coming to the US market, you need to think twice before you can, because you need to have adequate resources. So you need to have profitability wherever you are operating so that you can support, because it's going to take time and money to get through in the US market.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that is a good place to jump over to some personal questions that we're going to ask.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask, what's your favorite foreign word? So I hope you've had a minute to think about it. What's your favorite foreign word? And as you know, foreign is loosely defined to any language.
I would say sauna.
Oh, that's perfect. Sauna, as you say in Finland, or sauna, as we say in many parts of the United States.
It's sauna in Finnish.
Sauna. Yeah, you pronounce the U. Yeah, we just go sauna.
Yeah.
All right. And how about your favorite vacation?
I would say, funny thing, it's South Africa.
Hi.
Big game hunting.
Oh, okay. So you grew up in Finland, where you said that everybody hunts. And so going to South Africa, you've had the chance to.
Yeah, I used to say that skiing, but now it's not vacation. I can go to ski any day here.
You live in Colorado, where you've got great skiing. Yes.
Yeah, so it used to be that we came here for a week with the family to ski. Now we ski once a week.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I'm a very good skier and very lousy golfer.
The season's coming up. You can get back out and golf. A memorable cross-cultural experience you've had in work, either embarrassing or funny or mistakes or a learning opportunity?
I would say that this language is interesting. I used to go quite a bit to Japan. Mm-hmm. And in Japanese language, it's oyasako minasain, means hello. And in the Finnish language, it means I make love in a ditch.
Hello in Japanese. In Finnish means I made love in a ditch.
Yeah.
Connections between those two languages.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. But there are a lot of these cross-cultural things. Like I went to school in Washington, D.C., and my parents came to see me. And in Finland, you never tip. Tips are always included in your restaurant bill. You never tip.
Oh, okay.
And my father got entirely confused that when do I tip and when do I don't need to tip. So he was tipping heavily at the ice cream bar or something like that. And then he was like in restaurant, are you crazy? You are giving $20 for this. I said
it is. I've been in other countries and in some countries where you don't tip. And to me, it feels so weird because I've grown up tipping American style.
Yeah. When I went to school here, I was at some party, and there was a young lady who said that, yeah, Juha, I like you, I give you a call. In Finland, if a girl tells you that I give you a call, she will call you. So I'm waiting at that point of time, we didn't have mobile phones. I'm waiting on the phone for a couple of days, and no phone call ever came. So like in the Finnish language, you don't have this small talk. You have, so if you get a phone call from Finland, they are not going to ask you, how are you? How are your kids? How is the weather? Mm-hmm. They call you, can you do this for me? And thank you.
So if you're talking to a girl and you ask about calling or, vice versa, will the other person say, no, I'm not interested? Like will they be very direct and cut it off right there?
Typically Finnish people, German people, it's like Finnish language does not have a word please, or it's not used. So it's every now and then it sounds like they are giving orders to you, but they are not. They are just asking you to do something. We are just, the English language is so, we are used to be so sort of smooth.
Okay, so it's very direct.
There are no misunderstandings.
Okay, so back to the example, a girl would never say, I'll give you a call. And a gentleman would never say, or a girl would never.
No, if the girl says that I give you a call, she will call.
Well, will a girl say, may I call you?
Of course.
Okay, like, and what happens if the guy doesn't want her to call? Does he say no, thank you?
I don't think so. It depends.
Okay, so there is more politeness. If you say you're going to do something, you do it.
Yeah.
But you don't turn somebody down if they're doing it.
The other is when you are in a small society like Finland, 5.6 million people. Mm-hmm. You learn to, if you go to school in Helsinki, you learn to know half of the people there. And then when you are working, you learn to know the other half. So everybody knows each other's. So you know that, okay, today I'm working for this guy, tomorrow he may be working for me. And it's a sort of small circles. So you don't need, that's why making business there is really simple. You don't need legal work. It's a lot of trust.
Right. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. All right, we're coming to the end of our time. Any final recommendations for our listeners?
I would say that when you are in the US, coming or expanding in the US market, just make sure that you have a superior product, you know the features, and you market the product in the right market segment where it is superior. It doesn't need to be superior in every market segment, but it needs to be in that market for those users. It gotta be better than anything else. Don't come to this market with Me Too products. And I think it applies also also for the software type of products.
That's excellent advice. And I think that's for anybody coming into the United States, but I think it's good advice for people in the United States trying to market to their customers.
Yeah.
You know, have a super good product, market to the right segment, really know your features and where they're better than anybody else, and don't be a Me Too product.
And don't discount. Respect your product.
Okay.
You need profitability to be successful.
Where can somebody reach you, on LinkedIn or email or website, if they'd like to reach out and get in touch with you?
Yeah, probably LinkedIn is. There are not too many Juha Vaisanen, so you can find me there. Or yeah, LinkedIn is probably the easiest.
Okay, and I'll go ahead and spell your name so people can find you on LinkedIn, and then we'll also put a link in the show notes. Juha Vaisanen is Juha. Vaisanen is Vaisanen, and it starts with V as in Victor. So this has been such a delightful conversation. I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing your expertise, particularly in the senior and wellness market.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So listeners, if you know anybody that has a product that is good for the senior market, the over 50, where the people have to exercise and they have money, particularly forward this episode along to them. I'm sure they'd learn a lot. And go ahead and give us a 5-star rating if you would. I'd really appreciate that. So we'll talk to you next time. We'll bring another fun tidbit or funny word or cultural thing from Rapport International and share that with you. Thanks for tuning in. That's a wrap for this session. A big thanks to you for listening to the Global Marketing Show. Hope you had just as much fun as I did. New sessions launch weekly on all places you find podcasts: Apple, Spotify, Google Play, and of course on our website. If you know someone interested in this topic, please tell them about us. Au revoir for now.